It is important that learners return to school as soon as it is safely possible. As teachers, it is our responsibility to work together to prepare our schools for the return of learners, to put aside our differences, and to support the continuity of education so that learning does not stop. In this section of the workshop, we would like you to think about your classroom practices. What practices need to change and what practices can stay the same. You will be asked to prepare and share practical guidelines about 1. What to do before learners enter your classroom for the day. 2. Which hygiene and physical distancing measures you will follow during your lessons. And 3. What to do when your lessons end for the day. When planning for your return to your classroom, you must keep in mind the standard operating procedures for schools which has been prepared by the Department of Basic Education. You must also keep in mind your school's health and safety policy, which will be shared with you by your principal and SMT. It is important that you fully understand the content of this policy so that you can make sure that you are able to follow the procedures in your classroom on a daily basis. With the Department of Basic Education standard operating procedures and your school's health and safety policy in mind, let's consider what you should do before learners enter your classroom at the start of the day. How will you set up your class? Here are a few points. Check that surfaces such as light switches, door handles, desks and chairs are cleaned. Check that the learners' desks are set approximately 1.5 meters apart. If possible, have desk dividers. Make sure that windows are opened and kept open as much as possible during the day so that the class can be well ventilated. Please share with us other setup requirements that should be done before classes start each day. Now, let's think about how you will greet your learners as they enter your class. Greet each learner by name and tell them how pleased you are to see them. Ask your learners how they are feeling. Do they feel well or sick? Check that each learner is wearing his or her mask correctly. Ask each learner to wash their hands using soap and water or to use your hand sanitizer. Please share with us any other things you can do when meeting your learners at the start of the day. The next question you need to think about is how you will be able to support your learners' emotional well-being on their return to school. While some learners will be very happy to come back to class, there will be other learners who have not had good experiences at home and who will be bringing these unhappy memories with them to school. But whether their lockdown experiences have been positive or bad, all learners will need emotional support on their return to school. You can begin by simply asking your learners how they are feeling and what questions they have about COVID-19 or about school in general. You can then teach your learners some facts about COVID-19 and remind them that this difficult time will pass. Teach your learners how they can prevent the spread of this disease. Perhaps let them make brochures and posters on the subject. Teach your children the new rules about behavior and procedures in your school during this time. Make sure that your learners do not make fun of or stigmatize people in the community who have this disease. Please share with us other ways in which you can support your learners' emotional well-being during this time. And now, let's think about what must be done at the end of the school day. Before your learners leave, you need to remind them about the 3 keeps. The first is about keeping a safe distance from each other, which means that they cannot play in a crowd after school. The second is to keep wearing their masks until they get home and washing their hands when they are home. The third keep is to keep themselves at home if they are unwell. Explain to learners that if they feel sick in the morning with fever and a cough and sore throat, They must stay at home because if they come to school when they are ill, they could spread the disease. And a fourth keep for you as the teacher is to keep cleaning all the surfaces in your classroom. Take time once the learners have left to clean surfaces such as window latches, light switches, door handles, desks and chairs. Please share with us other things that need to be done at the end of the school day. Thank you for sharing your ideas about classroom practices and policies during the COVID-19 pandemic. We will review your plans and, with your permission, share them with other teachers in this program. On the next screen, we provide you with links to access useful documentation, for example, the Department of Basic Education Standard Operating Procedures for COVID-19. We have also posted links to videos on the wearing of masks and on measures that other learners and teachers are undertaking for their return to school. We trust that you will find this information useful. After reading the documents and watching the videos, you can move to the next section where we will be discussing how to teach fractions.